I work with instrumentals and neuroscience. So I'm into solution-focused therapy for the last 9+ years, and I have been doing few research on solution-focused therapy. Possibly I can say some kind of a process research and also some outcome research. Today I'm going to share you some of the research, 4 researches that I have been doing, and 3 research are on process research and 1 is on outcome research, which is focusing on the the neuro psychological and physiological and some other aspects when we consider in its solution for therapy in a clinical setting especially. So before I go about my presentation, I would like to acknowledge European Brief Therapy Association, the association was funding me in 2016 and 2018 to conduct one of the process research and one of the outcome research. Process research was done in 2016 and outcome was done in 2018. And I would also like to thank and acknowledge Cognitive Science Research Initiative, Department of Science and Technology, Indian government, who is already one of the research I'm running right now, which I'll be adding few from those research too, which is a 3-year-long project which I've just initiated. And I would also like to thank Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience and acknowledge them for helping me, because I'm working there and they're helping me to spare time to do all this research. And I would also mention a few people who have been associating with doing this work and who are doing the same research with me. And one is most importantly Dr. Santosh K. Rajan, Mr. Afzal Musa, Mr. Devansh, Ms. Fatima Shabnam, Mr. Mukhtar, Ms. Hind Begum, Ms. Leah Ajay, Ms. Jency James, Ms. Safa Jawad, Dr. Sumona Datta, Mr. Arnold Hubers, Dr. Adam Frower, Mr. Anas, Dr. Salah Bashir, Mr. Ali, Mr. Suni Muralidharan, and many others who are supporting me to do this work. Without these people, I might not have done any of this work. Right. So, as I said, today I'm going to talk about process research, few of the 3 process research and 1 outcome. It's an exclusive research talk, possibly. So, I don't know, people who are not much into research, please let me know. I can explain you in detail. And all the statistics part was done by Dr. Santosh KR and Dr. Sumona Datta, because I'm not at all good in statistics, and they are helping me with the statistics and interpretation. And I'm just designing. Most of my work was in designing the work, writing it, and the data collection and all. And towards the end, I would like to explain you from all this research what I feel like. So it's yet to be researched again. Mechanism of action. How does solution-focused therapy works? Inside the body, inside the brain, inside a psyche, inside a person. So possibly it's a question mark actually, whether that's true or not. It's all my ideas that are coming from my research actually, and that I'm also quoting 2 of the research which has been done by Anthony Grant and Knight and others, which I'll be mentioning those 2 research too before I'm getting into my research. All right. So all the process research over here are concerned with not exactly outcome of a therapy session. Instead, after an interview session, for example, if I'm getting a person, I'm doing an interview with them in 2 modes. First, the solution focus mode. That means I'm using all the solution focus questions with them. Here I am detailing about a clinical scenario and a non-clinical. So one of the research has been done in a non-clinical setting where I was using the solution focused circle technique, which has been developed by Arnold Hubers from Netherlands. And I was associating with him for a long time. And so that was a non-clinical population, but all others are clinical population. So all those clients are coming to Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience for some sort of psychiatric help, and the psychiatrist will see them and they will refer these people to psychological Department of Clinical Psychology for psychotherapy and all. So when I'm meeting them, they have a context why they are here, what made them give me in hand. So all the questions were pertaining to those particular. So the solution focused questions were all of solution focused. Suppose that includes miracle question, that includes the goal formulation question, but it was all a therapeutic interview, just one interview which lasted for around 30 minutes. And in the same way, all these clients were also receiving problem focused interview, which is like traditional. Uh, what made you be here? Like, it starts with that, and how long you have this problem. What happened first? Was there any precipitating factor? How difficult it was for you? This way. So this was the mode of solution-focused interview and problem-focused interview. And in most of the research, we were having one control group where these people were waiting for around 30 minutes. And I would also like to state that all these studies are not blind, okay, double blind or something. Uh, so all this research was done by me, myself, who has planned this research. So possibly there were questions of biasness, but I have tried my level best not to pick bias as far as I can. Because I'll explain you how it happened, and all those results were not very positive towards solution focused therapy. All right. So let us see. Uh, these are the few research which I'll be putting today, done by Anthony M. Grant, 2012, Knight in 2016, myself and others in 2019, which was published in Journal of Systemic Therapy, which was supported by European Brief Therapy Association, funded in 2016. Myself and Afsal Musa in 2009, which is in review actually, and Devansh and myself was Devansh Tomar and myself was doing, which is yet to be published in unpublished raw data. And 2000 we are yet to submit. I mean, with the report is like almost done and to be submitted. It was again funded by European Brief Therapy Association 2018. It's an outcome research. So let us go into the research done by Anthony M. Grant. So all the questions over here basically is there any effect on solution focused therapeutic interview in people who are listening to it and responding to it? When you compare this with people who are listening to problem focused question and responding to the question, and again you're comparing both the group with the control group. So Anthony Brand was doing this in 225 participants, which are non-clinical participants, and he measured the affect, the mood, the feeling of the people. The affect is the cross section of mood, which is broadly said as negative and positive, and self-efficacy and goal attainment. So from his research, it was found that solution-focused question increase the positive effect in the people who have been listening to this question and responding to it. And the people who listen to solution-focused question and responding to it, also he found that there was a decrease in negative effect and also increase in positive effect. So from this research, I am taking one thing specifically. There was an increase in positive effect, also decrease in negative effect. And of course, self-efficacy, which I won't be talking much about self-efficacy today. But obviously, it's a very important factor when you think about therapy or any other intervention with solution-focused method. For example, it helps the person to regain the power on themselves, because often when we do solution-focused therapy, we shift the focus of the person to self rather than to others. We shift the focus of the person to self rather than assigning his resource in external agency resource in. So we shift it internal. So it's very important too, which I will not be talking much about today. A research conducted by Mark Bebeck and others in 2006, they published. They conducted this research in students. So after giving solution focus, so I was adopting the same questions which have been used by Mark Bebeck and others in their study. I was using same questions to my studies too. So they have made a set of solution focused question and a set of problem focused question. So, but this research was conducted in students actually. Those two, the total number of students participated was 204, and 102 students attended the solution focused therapeutic interview, and 102 students attended other conditions. And they used the pre-post message again as affects, which they used positive and negative affect schedules. The same scale was used by me. And again, he measured the self-efficacy, and he used the one more thing, goal attainment. So his research indicated a high decrease in negative affect. So those who have listened, those students who listen to solution-focused questions, and when they are responding to those solution-focused questions, their negative affect has been decreased. So this was his finding. So similar to Anthony M. Grant's finding, here also there is Anthony M. His studies is indicated that there is an increment in positive affect and decrease in negative affect. In the same way, decrease in negative affect was also found in solution-focused questions. So this was the research, one of the key research which I'll be, I started in 2016 and published in 2018. I was doing it in clinical sample. There was a limitation for my study because my sample size was low, and there were a few other things which I'll be talking about. So what I did is the people when a client was referred to my clinic for psychotherapy, those who have a diagnosis of depression, like moderate depressive episode and mild depressive episode, I excluded the severe depressive episode with psychosis, and I included all other categories of depression. And the very first client who is referred to me will be assessed, and consent was taken. If they're ready, then they are going to solution focus group. The second client who was referred to me and will be assessed, and if they are if I consent to participate, they are going to the problem focus group, and the third client in a waiting list. I have mentioned it as a control group over here. And before I starting either solution focused interview or problem focused interview, always before I ask them to rate, once they are into the research, I have measured their positive and negative. I mean, I used positive and negative of the schedule, as well as galvanic measurement of their skin conductance by using galvanic skin response, GSR. So let me explain a bit about GSR right now. So the GSR will be placed in fingers. The electrodes will be placed in fingers, and we can see on a digital screen the resistance of the skin. If the resistance of the skin is high, that indicates the person is relaxed. Okay, we say when the conductance is high, resistance will be low. So there are a lot of research that indicates how the skin conduct is association with the tension or the stress or anxiety of a person. So I have measured all people when they are entering to. I have taken 5 measures of skin conduct throughout the conversation actually, which I will be showing in my next slide. And I did solution focused interview with 20 clients and problem focused interview other 20, and I have made waiting other people for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes of interview and waiting time, again I measured the affect, and again I measured the skin conductance, and this happened in skin conductance. You can see the red line, which is indicating the solution focused group. So the baseline of almost all the clients were having a same kind of skin conductance before they start the interview. You can see around between 200 and 250. So towards the end of the conversation, after 30 minutes, you can see the people, all groups have a increment in their body tension actually, but solution focused group have a better increment than the other 2 groups, which may possibly we can say this conversation of solution focused interview, it's helping them to to become a bit more relaxed than the other times. Okay, and this is quite evident from our therapy conversation and our training sessions when we do, when we ask the people to experience how different is a solution focused conversation with a problem focused conversation. After the activity, people come back, with a lot of smile than when before they go into the activity. So when we look at to the positive affect, it is like, uh, you know, uh, um, see, the red score is again the solution focus group. So you can see the problem focus group, they have a decrease in positive affect, and the control group have a little bit increment in their positive affect, but solution focus group have a better positive affect. Here there is a difficulty, like when we compare the baseline of their positive affect, even before starting the session, the solution focus group people were having a better positive effect than the other two groups. But my analysis doesn't made any, the homogeneity test was okay, and the test was carried. And there were no much, the, what to say, the interaction effect were not very high on this actually. But still we can say, when we compare the other aspects like negative effect, which was not very significant, which was significant, but the interaction effect was very low. But these two things, GSR, the skin conductance, and affective experience, both of these people who have received solution focused question have a better positive effect. And so this was my finding. Like there was change in electropsychological. I mean, we can say psychophysiological actually, psychophysiological response brought by solution focus compared to other groups. But the solution focus can enhance positive effect considerably with a significant interaction effect while comparing to the other groups. So let us keep it there, and let us go to the next. So this is a study which I have published. It's available online. You can Google it, and if you need this, I can get it for you. No problem. So this was the second study which I was done to study the processing speed. Will there be any effect? So far I have done the biological part, I mean the physiological. Was there any change in the physiology aspects of person when they listen to solution focused question? But here I'm going to talk about the processing speed. How fast the brain processes. So when a person is in a therapeutic conversation, it is very important for the person to listen, take the question, think about the question, create something which is desirable and preferred for them, and to answer it in as many details as possible, and to create a cognitive representation of the preferred future. And we usually use this question: suppose this happened, what difference will that make in you? Which is actually creating a very good cognitive representation of the preferred future. And if you are amplifying it in more and more detail, which will be more and more, it will become more and more effective in leading one's behavior towards the goal. And also, it will become a motivating factor, and it will regulate the other things that he'll be doing after the conversation. So let us see how processing speed has come. So again, this research was done in 2018 and 19 with the help of Afzal Musa, and he was doing the data collections and everything. So he again 20 participants in each group, which is significantly not very good number actually. And we repeated the affect part again, because affect, which was one of my key interests, was in affective neuroscience actually, where affect plays a very important role in especially in treating depression when we use the questions, and when we any sort of therapy. So what I did is I did examine their processing speed by using symbol search and coding, which was a subset in Wechsler's adult intelligence scale, which actually measures the processing speed of the person, which is one of the key important function of the prefrontal area, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And this happened after. So I did a pre-post assessment with the same. So waiting group was there, so solution focus group was there, and problem was there. Different from other, so this the research didn't yield much interaction effect in positive affect and negative. There was a significant difference, but interaction effect was 0.0 something, and so that I didn't included that particular your results in this study, in this presentation. But you can see in case of coding is actually a digit symbol substitution. Like you will be having a symbol and you'll be having a digit, and then you will have to substitute what symbol goes for which digit. And this process, the coding, is actually measuring the processing speed. It measures a lot of other things too, but predominantly as per Wessler's intelligence processing speed, and it also measures uh, psychomotor coordination. It also measures uh, processing speed, as measures attention and all. So it's just not the processing speed the coding measures. But I don't want to take everything together. But let us see percentage. So 0.27 is not a great effect size actually. It is not like wow, it is good. So it's a very low effect size. But still, when you compare with others, it is have a better results than others. So far, what we have examined from the stresses, there is a difference in affect, there is a difference in the body skin conductance, there is a difference in processing speed. Symbol search was not showing any better. I mean, the effect sizes were 0.0 something, which I didn't include it. Because possibly the coding, maybe because the symbol search was done after coding test. So there, the participant might have been mentally tired or something, or some other reason. Not sure about it. So the third research on process research was done in a non-clinical participant by using solution-focused circle questions. All right. And Devansh and myself was doing this research, and Devansh was collecting data. He was collecting data from a different location, and he used positive and negative schedule with number cancellation test to measure the sustained attention of the person, which is again a function of brain, especially the executive functions, prefrontal, especially the DLPFC. So he interviewed the people with solution-focused circle question, and we created. We were very sorry for the person, and we after doing this, problem-focused circle question, all the participants received solution-focused circle question, and again in the control group, it is all the people in the control group they received solution-focused question and solution-focused circle question in this group especially. And the one was reporting that sometimes it was so sad to see the face of the client when they were going through the solution problem focused circle question. And I'll give you one or two questions of so in solution focused circle question, we asked the client to think about the last 1 year and to describe in as many details as possible. I mean, they'll describe in few words initially, then we interview in detail for each one. What are the things that they felt like successful in last 1 year? But in problem focus group, the question was so sad, like think of last 1 year and think about those things that you would not like to happen again. So that was really sad. And in the control group, they were asked to wait. And again, we measured the people with number cancellation tests after their interview, and waiting list was waiting for 30 minutes. So this happened. Apart from, there were no significant, there was significant effect in when you compare between the groups. But when you see the interaction effect, there were no much interaction effect in the affect, but sustained attention was having better interaction effect when you see like I have mentioned the interaction effect of solution focus was 0.18. Interaction effects of problem focus question that they have reduced, the certainty was reduced to the interaction was better than the effect by 0.52, and in the waiting list again 0.57. So that means sustain has been a bit improvement when people were listening to solution focused questions, which is sustain has been one of the key important factors of anyone who, if somebody need to do their day-to-day life. Sustain is one of those, not only in psychotherapy, not only in counseling, but also in any sort of, you'll take anything. if you have impairment in sustained attention, it will be a difficult time for you, for anyone. So sustained attention. So far what we have been seeing is, and again I'll adding one more. This is an outcome research. So the research has been done, the report is ready, and just to be, it's to be approved actually. Um, so what I did in this outcome research, I incorporated affect, thinking orientation by measurement by using solution focused inventory. I measured their hope. I measured their happiness. I again included digit symbol substitution. Sorry, digit span. It's not saying the digit span is you asking a person to remember a few numerics and repeat them in backward and forward. And symbol search again, which was used in the other research too. So I did this before the session starts. Okay, usually when I get clients referred for psychotherapy, there will be some sort of waiting time. So when they come for walking or come for the first time, I'll meet them, I'll talk to them, and I give them an appointment, and they come back after a few days. So all these people were alerted, and those who are ready to participate in the research, they were assigned, they were given a date, and some of the participants given a date a bit later, which was consented, and after 4 sessions of my solution for therapy, I again measured their affect. I measured their thinking orientation by solution focused inventory. I measured the hope. I measured the happiness. I measured the digit span and symbol. So digit span and symbol, which actually measures attention, working memory, mental flexibility, and processing speed, etc. So, and I analyzed the data. Okay. So this was basically to study the efficacy of solution for brief therapy. Is brief therapy as it is, not just the interview, in enhancing the neuropsychological functions like attention, working memory, processing speed. It also includes mental flexibility and all in clients with depressive disorder. And I was also aimed to study the hope and happiness and positive effects other than neuropsychological functioning. So this happened. This is just a comparison of mean score actually. You can see the first positive effect. Solution focused, the blue line indicates the pre-test and the green line indicates the post-test. So in positive effect, there was an increment in their positive effect. And in the waiting list, again, there was an increment in their positive effect. We will see what is the significance. And when you look at the negative effect, there was a decreased negative effect in solution focused group. And in the waiting list, negative effect was more or less same in post-test. In thinking orientation, the solution focused group have a better solution focused orientation after their solution focused session. But in the waiting list, it was almost the same. When you look at the hope, there was an increment after post-test. In the waiting list, it was more or less same. In happiness, a mild increment, and waiting list was almost same. Again, in digit span, you can see solution focus has an increment, and the waiting list also have a bit increment. And in symbol search, solution focus have better increment, and the waiting list was anyway. But the all research was there any significance in this difference? Even though there is a significant difference in the pre-test and post-test, was there any significance? And we'll see the effect size too. So the last column indicates the effect size, which is actually giving whether we have to consider this significant difference into a consideration. The positive effect, which have a significant difference, but effect size is very low. Negative effect, it have a significant difference. Effect size is a bit more than the positive effect. Solution focused thinking effect size is 0.2, and in hope, again 0.2. Happiness is 0.15. Digit span is 0.1, and symbol search is very, very low. Again, which is similar to the research which was conducted previously. There was no much effects. Maybe we have to study more and more what makes this. When we do the symbol search, the effect size is low in many of the researches. All right. So now I'm concluding in a few minutes. Okay. So major findings was there was change in neuropsychological components, there is change in skin resistance, the change in affective experience, change in hope and happiness, change in things. Also, many of these changes are not very significant because the effect size is comparatively low. So all the research, I'm not claiming all the research we need to be repeated or it's baseless or such, but still this can, you can be used of further research. And let me come to a conclusion on all with this research. Um, so it's all a question mark actually. Whether in if you look into the research of solution, I mean, so cognitive behavior therapy, you can see how the change mechanism of change has been explained. So they have been explained by fMRI studies and simultaneous EEG fMRI studies by looking into the cognitive establishment of cognitive control network in the brain. We call it as top-down pathway. So when you do CBT with a client, the top-down pathway is active. That means the prefrontal area, especially DLPFC, is activated by using a lot of rational questions in the therapeutic conversation, and that helps a person to have a reduced activity in the amygdala, which regain the control, and it helps a person to have their normal life back. So they have the executive function back to their life, and it helps them to move on. So here, let me read a few of these statements. Therapeutic question helps the clients to keep cognitive active. So in other words, I could say a kind of, when the client comes for the therapy session, I don't have much evidence for this to say, but from my little bit of reading, so default mode network will be active. So by asking, I was listening to one of the plenary session a few hours back. I think Dr. Young is here. He was talking about rather than solution focused, to be focused solution. So this is something very important here. To break the default mode network, we need to help the person to focus on something rather than thinking about a lot of things and ruminating inside. And this is what we do in solution focused therapy. We help person to get some attention task within the conversation and after the conversation. That helps a person to break the mode and get out from it. And the therapeutic question, almost a kind of rational kind, it's a kind of cognitive question. Definitely, there could be people who have disagreement with me. All the solution-focused question, it's a kind of rational question, which is helping the person to think in a different paradigm, which again, Young was talking about this, like a mindset. We are creating a different mindset. I mean, there are people who have examined the solution-focused thinking after the session, which even in the participants who are attending the training and even in the participants who are attending the therapy, you can see there's a change in SFI, solution-focused inventory. You can use it. So this mindset is very important, and it also helps a person to overcome the amygdala hijack when they're really emotional. And this question helps them to come out from the emotional state and to focus more on the things that they have to do. So some kind of a logic state. And this question helps in those it is positive emotional state. And this all the research has been indicated change in positive affect, and which is very important. You can refer to Barbara Fredrickson's work, what is the Bill theory. Okay, so you can refer to Barbara Fredrickson's work, but positive emotion that triggers lasting, durable change in the structure and function of the brain, which promote further adaptive thoughts and behavior. You can also read about social cognitions, like proposed by Bandura. He says when you have some cognitive representation of the preferred future, it acts as a motivating factor to attain that particular thing, and it regulates your behavior between the times. So with thoughts of desirable change tend to foster behavior and bring about their realization. So together with positive affect, the cognitive process that's happening inside, and the hope and detailed cognitive representation of the preferred future, and focused attention. And when we talk more and more about all these things transfer to a long-term potentiation. The neural network changes, it creates something new, and it gets strengthened, and it helps a person to have a lasting result in their behavior after the conversation or after the session. So these are a few of my explanation of how solution-focused brief therapy actually works, the mechanism of action with few of my research, and few of the research has been conducted, and some of the outcome, one of the outcome research which I have been doing. And I think it's 3:30. It's time to end. However, I can take few questions if you have, and we'll wind up and soon, and we'll go to the next parallel sessions. And thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any questions, please.
I just wanted to say thank you, Jaseem. It was absolutely fascinating, and I put in the chat. You know, I'm also interested in the brain and working with aphasia clients and this whole thing of processing language, speed of processing, attention. It's just so important in many areas of medicine as well as solution focus. So I'm so grateful for you for highlighting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. I was listening to your presentation with one of your students, one of your colleague, I guess, in Germany. Yeah, on aphasia, right? You were working on. Yeah,
That's
thank
right.
you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
So Jaseem had a question here.
Yeah.
Hey, is this? I mean, you did this research on clients who had depression or a clinical issue, right? Now,
Yeah.
have you done such researches on general public individuals who have day-to-day issues, and are there any data similar to this? I mean, some people who don't really
So
have any depression, but day-to-day issues.
Yeah. So no, I haven't done anything in that way, but I have been doing a pilot work before I do my process. Research in depression. I was doing a pilot work in college population, which I haven't included here because I didn't, the work was pilot work, and I didn't want to include this pilot work here. The work which I have done with the solution-focused circle question was in a non-clinical population, actually, and but they were not having any even. We have measured them with GHQ, where we have to rule out any clinical condition, but we couldn't say that they are having any subclinical conditions, but we haven't measured that way. But anyway, I don't have any research in. I have research in clinical work, and actually I can say non-clinical, but I'm not sure about whether they have some subclinical issues or not.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Vinay.
Thank you.
Jaseem, can I ask something?
Please, Karen. Yeah.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much. That was enlightening. I love the way that it can actually, it shows that it works. It's like, for me, it's like, I know it works, but it's just so nice to see it in research. And also, I'm often toying with, like, on the clinical side, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a counselor and I'm a coach, but I often get clients who are in that depression cycle, and we know that medication is part of the tools. And I'm just wondering how much of the medication and the solution-focused kind of neuroscience around it, how much can that improve? You know, is it only medication, or is it only, or is it a combination? I mean, it's a very difficult question, that, I know.
Okay, so are you talking about the sample which I have collected?
Well, that one, but just in general as well around depression, because you have that knowledge.
So let me tell you, I work with a multidisciplinary team where I usually get clients after seeing, they'll be meeting the psychiatrist first. So the psychiatrist might have given some medicine, and then they'll refer the case to me for psychotherapy in combining with medication or without medication. But there are some times where the client says, I don't want to take medicines, I just want to attend psychotherapy. Often I have seen when the client comes with a mild depressive episode, and when they are medicated, they tend to get a bit more dysfunctional state than the time they have got into the medication. I have been talking with my psychiatrist on this, and he said, yeah, it's true. Sometimes medication, make, they may get out from the depressed mood or something, but their activity, their energy might not be the same. But there are some opposite results too. Like when they take medicines, they are better. Personally, I would suggest, if you're asking me, which is actually against, I work with a government organization, so all the clients have to be seen by psychiatrists first before they see by. But I think personally, a client should be met by, a psychologist, and they can assess to what extent they need medicines or not. And there are movements against psychiatric medicines too. Like psychiatric medicine doesn't have much, you can also listen to Sami Timimi and those who are speaking, the psychiatric medicine does not really help the person, rather it, make the person dependent on, but I have witnessed both people getting better with psychiatric medicine and people getting worse with psychiatric medicine.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, can we wind up now, or is there any more question?
Just one more question about
yes,
the.
Dr. Young.
Hello. I think you have problem-focused and solution-focused person to ask the questions. I would like to know more this person, okay? How you train them to, okay, this is, you ask this question, okay? The background, how you implement this so-called problem-focused or solution-focused questioning process, how you train these people, how to differentiate, how to train them, the protocol, something like that.
Okay, so are you talking about the person who is interviewing?
Yeah, doing the interviewing.
Okay, so the solution-focused people who are interviewed, use the solution-focused question, they attended my training in solution-focused approach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I think not only the question, if the people really believe in the philosophy of the question, the effect will be much better.
Absolutely.
This is very core for me.
Yeah, the people who were helping me is Afzal Musa, Devansh Kumar. These two people who are collecting data, they have attended. They're absolutely solution-focused therapists actually. So the mindset is, as you said, mindset is very, very important. If they don't believe in what they do.
Yeah. I think the person who using the approach is very important. Who is also important than how and what. Okay.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So I hope we can wind up now. Thank you very much for attending my session. I hope to see you all in the other rooms and for the plenary sessions. See you again. Thank you, David. Thank you so much for helping me out by being my co-host. And I hope to see you there in the other room. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care.